pikkusen.
Oikein täysmiinus käännää, oikein vähän yli nykyinen.
Welcome to Jyväskylä, Finland, where every year at the start of August, rallying comes home. 2020, however, has been a little different, and due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Rally Finland as we know it was cancelled. However, in a bid to keep competition thriving and rallying at the forefront of everyone's minds, we are taking the event into the virtual world as we deliver the Neste Rally Finland eChallenge. Pro gamers competing against some of the biggest names in the WRC. Virtual reality at its finest. The day is made up of 3 semi-finals, with 2 drivers from each grouping progressing to the final. The overall winner gets the glory, of course, and also an immediate pass through to the official WRC eSports Championship final later this year. But first, they have to qualify for the eChallenge Grand Final. Let's start with our pro gamers, who are first behind the wheel.
So let's head into the first stage, and it is the eSports group. So we got Mihalo, who is one of the eSports WRC drivers. We got JHTL85, Statinen, another driver of the eSports WRC, and a newcomer, which is Flat Team, right? I didn't saw that name before.
No, he's a new competitor this year.
So we got 2.3 kilometers basically, 79% asphalt, rest is gravel, so it's a mixed surface rally. And we can see that Flat Team actually went for the Toyota Yaris, which is a beautiful car, by the way, and you can win it in the eSports WRC. That's the next important thing. But everyone's running into the first city stage. Oh, that was actually a bit wide there, not really getting any traction, and that, as we can see, it's Mihalo that actually went through immediately and is our current leader, also in a Toyota. Seb's like not willing to talk to me. That's fine.
You know, no, that's a short stage, so it will be very quick, but full of action, I think.
So this is a new overlay, so everyone out there has to get used to it. On the top left, you've got the actual leaderboard, so we know Mihalo is currently leading, JHTL85 is second, then Fletem, then Statinen. And on the bottom right, that's actually new. You now see throttle, brake, and the gear, all the inputs from the driver.
That's true. That's a new layout that the Kiloton made, just to be closer to what you can see in WRC Plus, for example. So it's really TV style. It looks good, as we can see. It gives you good information on brakes, on throttle, the rotation of the wheel. So yeah, that's good.
All new cameras as well, as this is the upcoming WRC 9. So we're not on WRC 8 anymore, even though WRC 9 isn't out yet. But we see Mihalo actually using all that experience from the eSports WRC, all the years of participating, because we're in the 6th year by now, 5th year, 6th year of the eSports WRC, and it really pays off for him. JHTL85, he's currently in second. That's the Hyundai i20 WRC car that we see coming around that corner there, clipping the curb slightly, but super nicely through. Oh, Statinen. Did he want to buy that property? It's
maybe,
not for sale.
Maybe, yeah.
It's definitely not for sale, that property there. You can't do that. So we get going and into the second stage. Mihalo obviously coming with that huge gap now he created on this very short stage. But we know on a long stage, you can lose seconds and seconds and seconds with a single barrel roll.
Of course, that's why the decision will be taken here, I think.
Let's see how they get off the line with Flat Teamy once again on his beautiful Toyota Yaris. Good start actually, JHTL85 slightly slower there, but it seems like Mihalo is slightly edging forward already. Statinen, now our new leader, also on the tour. It seems like the Toyota is the choice today, at least in the eSports group. To remind you, these are the eSports drivers, then we'll go Junior WRC, WRC2 next, and then we see the WRC stars on the game, and for the grand final, they all come together. Mihalo, though, it's not even a second between him and Statinen. They're going back and forth there. Seems to be a lot harder than on our previous stage, as this is loose surface, and Mihalo might be the expert for asphalt. sitting right with JHTL 85. And that's not easy, look at that. The visibility is really poor. Obviously we've got evening and clear here, so it's a bit harder to get through. Oh, that was tight there. He needs to make sure to not clip any of the poles from the car left and right, but he's up to second position, so that really helps. Flettimi is currently 17th overall in the eSports WRC, and the important thing about this championship here in Finland, like the Neste Rally Finland eChallenge, is if you win it, you go through to the eSports WRC final immediately. So with being 17th and only one rally to go this weekend, there's not much time for him to make it. So if he wants to be in the final on his maiden season, then he has to do it here today in this group stage and then later on in the big final. Stutinen, he fell behind a bit. That's a huge gap already to the leaders. Not really helping him out here, so it seems like he won't make it. He's currently 8th in the... no, he isn't. Sorry, that was a different driver. So he's currently 52nd in eSports WRC, so it's the same for him. The only chance to make it through to the grand final is getting into the grand final here and win it, but not with Mihailo leading like that. Second, the two fastest guys from this group, they will make it to tonight's live broadcasted TV final in the eChallenge. It's a big fight here between JHTL and Flettimi right behind him. Mihailo having a huge gap already. Look at that, he's off in the distance, really managing the pace of his car. Full control of the second stage here. Well, between these two, the fight is still on. Not much time left, I would say. I'm currently not seeing the overall stage split time, so might not be super precise. But I also think they're getting closer. Oh, that was a bit wide there. JHTL 85 over-rotating the car a bit, going wide. It's always this struggle balancing out the car between drifting and having the grip, and there they come to the finish, and it is JHTL 85 coming second. Mihailo also winning second stage, so Mihailo will be through for sure, winning stage 1 and 2. But who is the second guy going into our grand final tonight? It could be any of them, I think, because it's quite close between JHTL 85 and Flettimi. So we got that on the screen for you, and with that, it's actually confirmed. It's JHTL 85. He came second on stage 2, and he also taking second overall, and with that, getting the ticket to the grand finale tonight.
Mihailo, you just won a great semi-final there, which puts you on now to compete against a great lineup of drivers. How confident are you of moving forward against WRC drivers?
I'm happy that I won both stages now, so I'm looking forward to evening, but I don't know, we will see what happens. So.
How much have you been training? How much have you been preparing to get ready for this?
I haven't been playing for 8 months, so just 2 weeks before this event I started to practice, so I don't know.
And now the second group is all about the junior WRC drivers.
It certainly is. Semi-final 2 then, Lauri Juna, Alexi Lampi, who we'll talk about in a little while because he's not an actual driver, Sami Pajuri and Sami Matti Trogan, who won our latest eSports shootout. Incredibly talented lineup. I can't wait to see who's going to win this one and make their way through to what will be a great evening this evening in our final.
Yeah, Sami Matti Trogan is definitely one of the favorites, as he said already. He's coming off a win in the shootout. He's obviously rocking his jersey from Williams eSports. That's not an unknown name. We're talking about the F1 Williams.
Williams eSports, yeah. I mean, he's got his 1 foot in real racing, 1 foot in eSports racing. Well and truly, he is a star of the future. He's a star of the right now, in fact. He definitely is one to watch here.
He is, and up next is actually, I'm not sure, is it the wild card?
I think this guy is the wild card.
The intern, because that's basically the story around him, right?
Yeah, he is an intern here, and basically, he was just having a little go on the game yesterday, and he set an incredibly quick time on Harryu, which isn't surprising because if the rally had been running, he would have been setting up that stage. So he knows it pretty well, but my goodness, what can he upset the apple cart, René?
He built the structure we're in. That's the fun thing, right?
Now it is Harryu that we start with then. It's a mixture of asphalt and gravel, this one.
It's very tight city corners. There's not 90-degree turns, so you have to be aware of all the curves because they really unsettle the car. Look at the first one here.
You have to be incredibly precise here, not only on the asphalt, but actually on the gravel as well, because there are some very narrow sections as soon as the guys get onto the gravel.
See Sami Martin Trojan currently in lead for Williams eSports, but that was him clipping that curb. I told you about the curbs and all that in the city part are so crucial. So it threw him away a bit. Oh no, Sami Martin Trojan still in the lead.
No,
it's
he is still in the lead.
Pajari,
It is Lauri Yuna, that has moved up just a little. Alexi Lampi, who's our wild card, behind at the moment. This is a short stage. It's all or nothing with this one. You have to absolutely give it everything right from the start. There are no room for errors in just over a 2-kilometer stage. Right up onto the curb then there. But Sami-Matti Trojan is looking pretty dominant here, it's fair to say.
Yeah, back into the city centre, but I can say the gap is not as big as what we've seen in the eSports group. So these guys are very evenly matched here. That was a slight tap, I think, to the barrier there. Nearly over-rotating the car, giving another chance here to Sami Pajari right behind him.
Oh, no! It's a mistake from Trojan. So easily done as well. That puts Sami Pajari now in the lead. See how easily things can change around here. And it's Trojan down to third. Lauri Yuna now in the lead.
Yeah, it is him finishing first. But
what a change around.
I fear that Alexei had the ghost turned on because they can decide if they want to see the ghost or not. And I think he was just following Sami-Matti Trojan there, doing the same mistake on that stage, and we know how short it is. Look at that, it's 1:30 stage time. Even the gap is not even 8 seconds between Juna and Lampitz.
Lauri Yuna then takes that first win on the Harryu stage. Well, they get the second chance now though, of course, René, because they head into, as I described it, the daddy of all stages. Not quite as long as Onimpoja has been in the past. It's a 10-kilometer blast though. So it is a really good stage for them to get their teeth into and to really show us what they can do out there. And this is a stage which demands pace right from the outset. There's no real margin to back off here, and they have to keep it flat out. It's Sami Pajari who takes the initial lead.
And while we're on board with Lauri Yuna, our current leader, and look how precise they have to be. You want that balance between sliding and forward momentum to really be quick around this. Oh, with the jumps, it makes it even harder.
Just see the ghost there of Sami Pajari in front, so that's the difference between them. Trojan has passed Yuna now. This stage is unforgiving. You make a mistake here, it's a huge mistake, so they have to keep it clean in Onimpoja. It's the only way to go, clean and fast. Sounds easy, doesn't it, René? It really isn't, though.
Wait, it isn't? I thought that's how it works. I was pretty sure it's super easy. No, it's not. And you see that with Lampi now struggling against these junior WRC drivers because they got the flow now. WRC 9 makes it a bit easier for them with the physics being even closer to the real deal. And it seems like to work for them.
It's Yuna now who's gone ahead of Trojan, so he is in pursuit of Sami.
If Sami doesn't make it due to that mistake, that would be a huge storyline because he was among the favorites for this one, definitely.
Yeah, we've seen him compete, and he had a brilliant battle, actually, with Lauri Yuna in our previous eSports challenge. It was neck and neck. It was the most thrilling battle I've seen all season. But could we get something even better here? It looks like.
Yeah, Lauri Yuna is really coming closer now on Sami Pajari. I'm wondering if he's just waiting for his favorite part of the track. We know that from the eSports WRC, so we did 5 years of that now, right? Sometimes you just have that one split of the actual stage that you really love, and then you can make up all the time, especially over this big jump here. And now look at that, he's edging closer every single time, but that was a bit too hot into that corner, I think.
Yeah, Sami has kept it ahead now for a really good distance. He needs to hold true to the rhythm that he's got himself into because it is going exceptionally well for Sami Pajari, our junior WRC driver. 4th in the championship after Rally Sweden this year. Of course, as every single driver out there not being able to compete on the WRC again, but Rally Estonia beckons for our juniors, so we'll see him back in action there, but he's doing a brilliant job here, keeping himself very fresh behind the wheel.
It's so amazing to watch how tight they are on those corners. I mean, you're on loose surface, the entire car is drifting across all four wheels and all that, and he's still keeping it super tight on the inside there on the apex. Amazing.
Yeah. He just needs to keep it clean now, Rene, because he's got a good advantage. Yuna is right behind. The slightest mistake now from Sami Pajuri, and it could be game over on this stage.
Yeah, Sami Trogan a bit further behind. He's basically watching our current two leaders with Alexi Lampi, the intern. It's just amazing to see him racing here.
No, it is. It's such a brilliant story. What Finland is famous for then, the huge jumps, the sheer pace. All represented in the WRC 9 game.
Cutting over every action that's available, not rolling the car. We know how easily you can roll those cars just because you took a bit too much risk into the next corner. But he's finishing first with Juna second, Sami Trogan third, and Alexi Lampi. He is around here with his Toyota Yaris, beautiful car. A bit dirty though, so before we put it back in the showroom, we should probably give it a proper wash.
Well, congratulations to Alexi Lampi, who came in right at the last minute to take part in this eChallenge. He's done a brilliant job out there. It is Sami Pajuri who does take that overall win, with Lauri Yuna second, Sami Trogan third, and Alexi Lampi in fourth position.
I was quite surprised, to be honest, with the result. Okay, the first stage was difficult as there was raining, but okay, I didn't do any stupid mistakes, so I guess it was really good.
The second stage though, Onimpoja, that is where you came into your own. You led from start to finish, that was very impressive.
Yeah, well, I needed to push. I saw that the other ones are also like to win the rally, so I needed to do at least make the battle more intense.
So let's bring them up to the stage then, welcoming our first driver to get into his rig, Teemu Suunanen, who represents the M-Sport Ford World Rally Team. You've been competing in the Finnish eSports Championship as well as doing the WRC one, so you're getting very much into the world of eSports. Is it keeping you fresh behind the wheel?
Hopefully. That's been the best thing what I have been able to do now. We haven't been able to find enough budget to drive with any cars, but let's see if the things change soon. And yeah, I've been enjoying to drive Finnish Championship finals here. The top drivers here is getting some salary from eSports, so it's nice that I can be really close to them and give good pressure for them.
Well, we'll see how close he is when we get into our semi-final. Now, let's welcome our next driver up, and that is Teemu's teammate, Esa-Pekka Lappi. We caught up with him earlier also. Let's hear from EP. I know you're a bit of a novice with this game. You haven't got much experience, have you?
No, not really. I own a simulator. It's not too old, to be honest. I think I got it less than 2 months ago. But I've been using only circuit racing, to be honest. So with this rally game, I'm not so familiar. And I don't mind, to be honest. You know, the younger guys will be faster, I'm sure. I will try my best, but it needs so much practice to, you know the places where to cut and where you don't crash, and it just needs so much practice that I don't have time to do that.
Now let's turn to our next driver. Keeping in mind with the Flying Finns, we'd like to welcome from Toyota, Kalle Rovanperä. As he makes his way to the rig, we also spoke with Kalle earlier on today.
For sure, I haven't been playing these WC games so much. I've been more on the track side, but yeah, I think it will be really difficult to challenge the guys who have been playing much more, but it's going to be fun for sure.
It certainly is going to be fun. Now then, Rovanpera's teammate Takamoto Katsuta is our next competitor. Living, of course, here in Jyväskylä right now, so he's practically finished, but of course hailing from Japan.
I bought simulator stuff and everything, so now I can play at home quite a lot. And yeah, since March I started to play a lot, simulation and lots of stuff. So yeah, not much confident, but yeah, for sure much better than last year. So let's see what I can do, and yeah, I'm pretty enjoying a lot with the game.
And the final driver we'd like to welcome is Estonian driver in WRC3, Roland Palm.
Oh, it will be definitely difficult. I'm not a pro gamer. I took my little brother's the set, you know, the gaming set, and tried to do some gaming when the lockdown was imminent. So I have not done actually very much racing, sim racing, but yeah, some competitions with the WRC, and but it's good fun. I like it, so I think it will be fun here as well.
So that's all our drivers assembled, but there was one more driver that couldn't be with us today, sadly, and that is Craig Breen, but he does have a message for you all.
Hey everybody, Craig Breen here from Hyundai Motorsports. Yeah, I would love to be with you all today at the Neste Rally Finland eChallenge, but yeah, due to the ongoing strange situation that we have in the world, unfortunately I wasn't able to travel. Much to my disappointment, because yeah, I do like my sim racing and things like that, and I was hoping to put up a bit of a challenge, but no, unfortunately couldn't make it happen this time. But I've got a cup of tea in my hand, and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the results. Hope everybody has a lot of fun. Obviously a pity that we're not doing the actual Rally Finland this year rather, but yeah, hopefully this eChallenge will make up for it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of action there anyway, so sending you all the best, keeping an eye on it all, and yeah, flat out.
Well, I'm sure they will be flat out, Craig. That's the lineup for semi-final 3 then. Katsuta, Lappi, Palm, Rovanpera and Suninen will all face each other. Rene, what are we starting with our semi-final?
We're actually going to Hayu again, which is a stage that everyone had to go through in the previous semi-finals. So it's the same for the eSports WRC stars here. And it's a very, very short city snapping stage. It's completely different to the usual finish stage. It's a bit more flowing and fast with those jumps.
That's our 2 semi-finals then. As Rene mentioned, Harju kicks us off. And if you follow Rally Finland over the years, of course, you will be very familiar with that stage, and even more familiar with the legendary, world-renowned Onin Poja, which is the 2nd stage in our semi-final. So the guys have to go through 2 stages, and then we'll find out who will move forward into our final. We've already had 2 previous semi-finals. Those drivers will then join whoever from the 2 most successful drivers here into the final. Here we go. It does start on asphalt.
Off we go. This is obviously the city centre, basically, where we start. There's a hairpin coming up right next to them. A bit wide here for Roland.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But still, look at that acceleration out of that corner, taking the momentum a bit better than Suninen. Suninen just coming off that previous Finnish Sim Racing Championship, so he's used to sim racing at least today, but falling back a bit. Katsuta now in the lead.
Incredible from Katsuta, but you know, he has been practicing. He's loved his esports during lockdown. Lappi, who said he was a novice behind the wheel, into the lead. It's chopping and changing. This is such a short stage. They've got to be very, very precise here.
You need to avoid clipping the curbs or any of those small objects. There are barrels around, there's obviously poles around. Don't hit them, otherwise he will spin out. That was close there from Pom, but now Katsuta back in the lead, back into the city actually. And we see them going very wide compared to the eSports WRC guys that we saw earlier. Now, that was a lot of understeer coming around. He lost tons of time there. Look at that, Pom and Lappi back in the lead.
Excellent stuff from Lappi and Pom so far. Really impressed with Roland. He has been practicing, he said, but you know, not as much as some of the professional gamers obviously have. Teemu Suninen, who's been in action all day today in the Finnish eSports Championship, down at the bottom though. Lappi now back into the lead. It is so close between these guys.
There's nothing in between them, but Lappi's back in the lead. Katsuta and Puma still fighting for 2nd position, and that was the crucial moment. There is Katsuta out, I think. He actually jumped out.
Was it this like a normal day in Harju?
It seems it was much better actually than normally. I always struggle on this one, so It seems I'm better on the game than on the real life.
There we go then, that was Esa-Pekka Lappi. I like the way that he said he's better in the virtual stuff than actually on the real stage. Remember what he said at the beginning, that, you know, he was a bit of a novice on this game. Well, he's blown that theory way out of the water. Was he trying to upset the apple cart, maybe? Let's find out on Onimpoja. Can Lappi do it again? This is a much bigger stage, obviously 10.3 kilometers in length. Nowhere near the size of the Onimpojas we've seen in the past, but it's a real flavor of the stage. It's tough, it's demanding, it is super quick. There is no room for error within this one. And we start with Katsuta.
Obviously now back to gravel. There's absolutely no tarmac on this stage at all. You have to carry up way more momentum and speed through all these turns. Otherwise, like, if you're not taking the risk here over the jumps, there's no chance for you to be leading.
It's Katsuta at the moment who has the lead within this stage. It was an incredible semi-final earlier with Sami Pairi, who led from start to finish on this. Can Katsuta manage that? Looking very strong and quite an advantage over the boys behind as well.
It's all about confidence going over the jumps. We see that Lappi actually doing a great job following Katsuta here, and I think he's closing the gap with every single turn they're doing. He's a bit more precise, and as I say that, he runs a bit wide on the next turn. But look at him being more on the inside when coming into the turn, but that exit was way too sketchy there, losing some set, like even a full second, and now Pom and Robin Perra are getting back onto it.
Yeah, they certainly are. Katsuta has been practicing quite a bit, and he's been uploading his gaming onto YouTube. 92,000 people have watched one of his videos. It's pretty incredible, and he's holding his own here on Onimpoja. Lappi not too far behind, then it's Pom, then Rovanperä, then Suninen.
I was expecting Suninen to be way further ahead, but it might be the difference now, coming from circuit racing and sim racing to rallying in just a few hours. That's not easy.
Maybe Suninen is, a little bit weary after his day. Kalle Rovanperä was telling us, he's been doing a lot of circuit stuff online as well, not so much rally.
Rovanperä definitely brings the experience in sim racing and how to tackle a challenge in sim racing to this. But it seems like Katsuta and Lappi are just really in the flow right now.
Yeah.
They've got the rhythm, they're really letting the car flow and have that balance between grip and drifting on every single turn.
I wonder how many times Katsuta has practiced this stage, because that is quite some advantage he now has. If you are just joining us, we are in the third semi-final of our Neste Rally Finland eChallenge. And we're on board now with Kalle Rovanperä, and he can see the cars in front of him. He's got three in front. Roland Pom, Esa-Pekka Lappi, Takamoto Katsuta, who is leading the Onimpoja stage right now. Oh! That is not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, over the big jump. I was expecting him to get some air, but instead he actually catch up onto the gate. Wasn't really what he was planning, I'm absolutely sure about that. We see...
it's Lappi now that moves into the lead. Has Katsuta made a mistake that we haven't seen?
Yeah, I was looking for him. He dropped down the leaderboard pretty quick.
That might well have been a mistake that we weren't on board with, unfortunately, because Lappi, again, is in the lead, and Roland Pom is in second right now.
Pretty sure that Katsuta is focused and trying to get back onto Pom and Lappi, because he knows there is still enough stage left, basically. There's time for comeback, but you need to be in the flow again and not being angry about the mistake you did.
So Lappi with the advantage. Can he hold it? He's already taken a win on Harju to give himself an advantage coming into the second stage of the semi-final.
He's looking very confident right now. Look at that, there's absolutely no lifting. Yeah, there's no lifting. He's not braking to rotate the car. He's just throwing it into the next turn, knowing exactly where he has to position that car. Over the jump again. Yeah, look at that. He's rotating it right before the jump.
Talking about no lifting, 2006, Marcus Gronholm didn't lift for 46 seconds on the Onimpoja stage. That's quite some time to be absolutely flat out, and that is what this stage is all about. It's speed.
And it seems like Lappi is handling that the best right now. Katsuta, though, back to second position. Roland Pom went down to third. And still Rovanperä and Suninen in fourth and fifth. Nothing changing behind there, but it seems like Lappi is in control, dominating the second stage here. With that, will definitely find a place in the grand final if nothing happens.
If nothing happens, he's got to keep it clean, of course. He has to keep it neat and tidy now, but do we expect this? Has he played down his chances? Has he tricked us, Rene, with the whole, I don't have much experience on this game, because it looks completely the opposite?
Maybe it's a difference, you know, normally with sim races, we see a lot of excuses. Lappi missing that turn, seems like not getting enough rotation in the rear to actually throw it around and then get the grip on the exit of the corner there. Running wide, ditching it, but he's still back in, and it seems like Katsuta is far away.
Yeah, there's quite a distance in terms of time, and there we go. Lappi, what a legend.
Yeah, Katsuta making it second, Pom third, and then it should be Kalle Rovanperä, coming around the last few bends on the start-finish, basically, and then Suninen, same ditch though, look at that. It's the same ditch that Lappi got in. Seems like that corner's a tricky one.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah, Suninen almost clipping that.
Yeah, for the camera, coming in as close as possible to the fence there.
So, confirmation then that Lappi is the fastest through, then Katsuta, then Roland Pom, then Rovanperä, and Suninen. And we will get an overall cumulative result from Harju and Onimpoja. But my word, what a run through there. Katsuta was doing so well, but there must, Rene, have been a mistake in there, I reckon, that we didn't see.
I mean, we know how fast it can happen, right? There's no lifting on most of the parts. We saw people running wide and really taking the risk everywhere. And it seems like for Katsuta, that actually caught up to him. Still, though, it was a great run from everyone. I'm a bit surprised, though, that Lappi was so dominant on that stage, because I was expecting him to be fast, but that fast, crazy. That was the Rovanperä accident, obviously clipping that gate. I mean, at least some time for our sponsors, that's right. It's like giving the WRC sponsors some
giving them some
visibility.
airtime, absolutely. But yeah, such a shame. But a brilliant, dominant performance then from Esa-Pekka Lappi, and a second win for him. So a brilliant run so far, and of course he will go through to the final. Little bit of a mistake though, but despite the mistake, still the fastest time on the board.
Esa-Pekka, this seems to be a pretty easy game. You're in the final now.
I'm a bit shocked, to be honest. I was not expecting this at all. But yeah, went well. No, only one big moment, but no crash this time.
Semi-final 3 then, and overall, it's Lappi who takes the overall win. It's Roland Pom then Katsuta, Rovanperä, and Suninen. So those are your results, and Lappi and Pom go through.
I'm surprised. I was really thinking that Katsuta made it through, but it seems like Roland had the upper hand in the end.
Yeah.
Not by much, though, if we look at the differences.
No, the differences are very small indeed, but our Estonian does make it through.
He had a long drive. He actually drove from Estonia with his girlfriend over here to Finland. So maybe it was all that practice, right? Navigating through through normal roads, coming here, and now being ready for sim racing.
Into the grand final, and first to take his place is junior WRC driver Sami Päiväri. The impressive youngster has been fully behind the eSports shootout events during lockdown. Fellow junior WRC competitor Lauri Juna is next up. Winner of semi-final 1, the extremely talented pro gamer Mihalo. The second of our pro gamers, JHTL85. Estonian driver Roland Pom is the only non-Finn within the lineup. He's competing in WRC 3 this year. Hugely impressive in his semi-final, previous Rally Finland winner Esa-Pekka Lappi is our final competitor. Go. Look at that lineup, isn't it tantalising? We go through Harju again. Hawker is the new stage we introduce into our grand final. And just to bring it back in, because it's so good, we're doing Onimpoja yet again. That will be the final stage of our grand final. Oh, Rene, it's almost time to get the guys ready. Are you ready?
I hope, like, they should be as ready as me, that's for sure.
Now, we are kicking off with the Harju stage. We've got some incredible footage back from 1974. This stage has such a long history in the WRC. It's been back on the championship itinerary for a few years now, but back after decades of missing out. It's slap bang in the city centre in Jyväskylä, so lots of tens of thousands of people seem to pile in to watch it and then head down into the service park. Now, what you'll see here is a bit of braking and reversing. Now, that was part of the rally back in the 1950s, believe it or not. I mean, look at some of these cars. The route has been transformed. It's been in different directions over the years. But it's still very, very special. It has a special place in the rally's history. But it can bite. It can really sting if you get it wrong. We've seen with our eSports guys, they've got it wrong. But there's a few rally drivers out there that will tell you some stories, like Lassie Lampi and Didier Auriol, who will tell you some, unfortunate stories just like that of Harju. It certainly isn't an easy stage. It's a short one, but it's one of those ones where everyone says, you know, you can't win a rally on it, but you can certainly lose a rally on it. Well, for our eSports guys, they will be hoping that they can be victorious. Team of Salonen there in the Group B. Some heady days, some incredible footage. Brilliant Finnish archive that we've got to watch here. Some fantastic memories as we bring you up to more recent times within the WRC, with Harju returning, as I mentioned, to the itinerary. Look at all those people just loving the fact that they can be in the city centre of their city watching a rally stage. As Rene said to you earlier, it is a mixture of both asphalt and gravel, and it's a real challenge. Just over 2 kilometres in length and 2.27 Ks to be exact. 79% asphalt, 21% gravel. We've got the stats for you, but the stats we want to see is who is going to be quickest through this stage. Shall we get ourselves ready? Shall we launch in? Shall we start with Grand Final Stage 1? It's Esa-Pekka Lappi who we see off the line on the first stage of our Grand Final. Into that tight corner. I think this is going to be interesting, and a lot of people have debated whether we will see, you know, our pro gamers absolutely take this final. They're the ones who, obviously, they're pros at this. This is what they do for a living. It's Lauri Juna who is currently in the lead. Oh, now it's Mihalo. This is going to change quite a lot. We saw that in the previous semi-final.
Yeah, they're basically one car. We see the ghosts of everyone, and it's nearly impossible to tell them apart here. Everyone knows this stage. They all did it in the semi-final. That obviously helps. And it seems like Sami Pajai is the quickest driver on it early on. And we see Roland Pummi was spinning around in the background. That was unfortunate. The same for JHDL 85. Who still has a chance to go to the eSports WRC final because he's 8th currently in the eSports WRC season. But for everyone else, it's just this one chance here. Everyone clapping the wall. I'm not sure if they're not happy with fan attack or why they actually went into the wall, everyone. But not really keeping it clean. Now, Sami struggling a bit. Mihalo once again in the lead.
Yeah, Mihalo's very, very strong here. You know, just a reminder to everyone as well, you know, we are playing on WRC 9 here, the new evolution of the game, which we see, of course, in September launched.
Lauri Juna now our new leader. Oh, everyone, that crap, that was Lauri.
Oh, it's Mihalo that takes it, though, right at the end.
He threw it away, like the lead. Lauri threw the lead away on the very last corner.
Look how close it is. Look at the times on the board. That's exceptionally close, but it is our pro gamer, Mihalo, in the Yaris WRC, who takes it. Okay, Hawker is our next test. 100% gravel, just over 7 kilometres in length. Apparently, it's midday at the moment, and weather conditions clear to a storm, so who knows what we could see in this one, Rene.
Definitely not the weather we have here on site, that's for sure. It's super warm and sunny, but they have to bring maybe wet tyres, who knows? But pretty sure that no one will go for that because it costs so much time in the end. But it's changing conditions on gravel. That's not easy. Everyone has to get used to. You need to adapt your driving style throughout the stage. Who can do it the best?
Well, let's find out, shall we? A very focused Esa-Pekka Lappi off the line for us. Second of our grand final stages, 3 in total. Onin Poja will follow. Huge jump at the start of the Hawker stage.
Once again, they're all close together. Seems like they know exactly the first few meters on this stage, but how about the rest of it? Not easy. Mihailo once again in the lead.
But now it's Yuna. Now it's Laura Yuna. I think this is going to chop and change. Again, I think they all are right the way through. Mihailo, though, is incredibly strong and so calm. He was this morning through his semi-final. Brilliant performance from him in our first semi-final.
Yeah, Laura Yuna obviously wants to make up for what happened on the previous stage when he threw away, I don't want to say easy stage win, but a stage win he deserved.
Yeah. No, absolutely, he did. They all do. They've all done a brilliant job today. It's been a full day of esports here in Jyväskylä. As Renee mentioned, it's been an exceptionally hot day. It's been fantastic. And now we're in the midst of a brilliant final. But I think a lot of people will be putting their money on Mihailo right now. He is still out in the lead. Laura Yuna then just behind, then it's Sami Pajari.
He was not as dominant in his semi-final as most people thought he will be. So the question is, can he actually hold up to all the pressure? Now that he knows he has a shot at this, he has a shot at going to the eSports WRC Grand Final. But for that, he needs to keep calm and in control here throughout the entire next 2 stages. Currently he is not over-rotating the car, only getting through the corners, but there's still Laura Yuna right behind him, targeting him and trying to chase him down.
Absolutely he is, but you know, the gap is quite wide. Okay, it's just less than a second really, but I mean, Mihailo is really hard to catch, it seems. I'm loving some of the lines that he's showing us, especially into corners. It's quite aggressive.
That was a fancy entry for Sami Pajari, that's for sure. Looking good for the gallery. He is still around, he's still close to Yuna Mihailo, but now that Esa-Pekka Lappi is coming from the back, everyone trying to climb at least onto the podium for now.
Yeah. Lappi wasn't too far behind Pajari, but JHT L85 just going ahead and now dropping behind. And back ahead again, chopping and changing between Lappi and JHT.
And Lappi with a small mistake there, JHTL, they're immediately taking the position off him because this is nothing, even if we see a gap.
Yuna is gaining on Mihailo here.
Even if we see gaps right now, we know how easily you can be back behind someone. Small mistake, not really accelerating to the fullest out of a corner, not getting the grip as you would like to, repositioning the car and everything is gone. But it looks like Mihailo is in a good mood right now.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be.
Pajari up to second now.
Yeah, Sami's doing a brilliant job out there. Really confident run from him in his semi-final. As we said, Onin Poja was where he absolutely shone, and he was quicker than the pro gamers on Onin Poja. So I'm sure that's in the back of his mind that, you know, he did well against the pro gamers earlier.
If you actually thought we were missing one of the goals, it wasn't. They were at the same position. Pajari and Yuna were basically the same car, but in the end, it is Pajari.
Yeah, it is Sami Pajari that takes second position. It's Mihailo that takes the win. Okay, that then is after the second stage. Mihailo has the overall cumulative lead over Sami Pajari. Then it's Laura Yuna, then GHT L85, then Esa-Pekka Lappi. Roland Pom is our last driver. But the gap, as you can see, between Mihailo and Pajari is pretty small. So anything can change around here. And we know that Sami Pajari had an incredible run over Onin Poja in his semi-final. What's going to happen? I don't know. Shall we find out? There we go then. There is Onin Poja for you. All the details on the screen for you to see. We're heading into evening time now, and we've got some good weather conditions for our drivers. Just over 10 kilometers in length, 10.3 to be exact for you. Okay, here we go then. The last run for all our drivers in the grand final. And we are underway, and we're with Esa-Pekka Lappi to start. And again, it's Mihailo straight out in front, quickly replaced by another pro gamer, GHT L85, but Mihailo back in the lead. We've got 10 kilometers of this, and I think it's going to be frenetic lead changing unless Mihailo can get a good hold on the lead. Sami Päiväri really close behind, did just take the lead but has lost it, back in control with Päiväri.
He's basically leading this train, and that train has a lot of talent right behind him. So a single mistake and he will find himself far back on the order. There's actually Päiväri just going through. You saw that, clipping the corner, jumping a little bit, making the lead up to being in front of Mihailo right now. Juna in third, Lappi in fourth.
Now we know what Päiväri did earlier. When he took the lead in Onimpoja, which was pretty much at the start, he held it the entire way through. He told us he had nothing to lose. He went absolutely flat out. And I think, Rene, that is going to be the exact mode he's in now. There's nothing to lose for Sami. And he's going for it. Big style.
It depends on how much risk Mihailo wants to take. He knows that he had a gap of 4 seconds. 1.4. So that's what he can manage. But you also know as soon as you fall behind, it's very hard to catch up again. So is he willing to take all the risk early on that stage, or is he trying to figure out if Päiväri actually comes through without a mistake here?
I think that time difference is just too small for him to ease off in any single way. He has to keep his foot to the floor. If he does ease off, he may well just make a mistake. He needs to keep flat out. He needs to keep focused here. Big prize on offer, as Rene has already mentioned, to get through to the grand final to potentially win that Toyota. And of course the glory of being the ultimate champion. But it is Mihailo who's gone into the lead. Päiväri dropping down to third. Lauri Juna now into second. But still, it's tight on time. Juna now in the lead.
Yeah, that neck and neck here. Mihailo's right in there.
So close, it's so close.
I love how Mihailo basically is using the same line as Juna. That's how close it is right now between a real driver and an eSports WRC driver.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. You know, it's fantastic to see, you know, the difference obviously within the stage, but the difference in the mindset, because you're going with a real driver who has experienced these stages, knows what it's like, knows the dangers that the stage can offer. Into eSports, it's a completely different offering. It takes a little bit of a different style in a way in your mindset more than anything else.
For Mihailo, it would basically be a huge comeback to the eSports WRC. As I said, he has no chance at all to qualify for this year's grand final on the usual way. So this event is its only chance to get there. And if he does that with 3 out of 3, winning all the stages in the grand final against those drivers, that's definitely a message sending it over to the grand final.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Mihailo then is in the lead. Lauri Juna is in second position. Then Sami Päiväri at the moment. Then it's Lappi, GHT L85 and Roland Palm. We're with Mihailo now. You can just see him there.
Seems like Lappi definitely lost time there because he was part of this fighting group and now he's been watching from the rear seats over the big jump. Let's see.
It's so close with Juna, isn't it? I mean, they're swapping the lead, it seems, constantly.
Mihailo can basically live with not winning that stage as long as it is like this, because they're basically one car. But you want to do the big thing. You want to win all the stages if you can.
Yeah, wow. It would be great, wouldn't it? 3 out of 3 would be fantastic. Look how close Juna and Päiväri are. It's just they're neck and neck.
But
it's
the back
swapping constantly.
Look at the gap. It's actually building now.
It is building. Mihailo is slipping down. Sami's really now starting to kind of edge out in front over Mihailo, and that. Oh! Thought that was going to be a bit of a wider slide, but it's not. It's not.
Does he really lose the entire event on the very last kilometers of this stage?
We are coming now towards the end of the stage. There's not a huge amount of kilometers left in this final. Mihailo is dropping time to Sami Päiväri, who is way out in front now, in comparison to Mihailo.
Yeah, Päiväri could be the combat master here, winning it on the very last stage, and he does so, but is that enough? Is that enough to claim the eChallenge?
It's Juna and Päiväri, first and second, with Juna the fastest through. But what does it mean in terms of the overall result? These are the results on the board then. It is Mihailo that takes it.
0.6 of a second. That's a proper grand final here.
I told you the result was close. So congratulations to him, with Sami Pajari just behind, and then Lauri Juna in third. Cumulative results then over the 3 stages that we've seen.
Yeah, I feel really good. Didn't do any big mistakes and won every stage. I don't know, feels good.
Lauri Juna!
It is Lauri Juna who takes 3rd position overall as part of our eChallenge here in Finland. And there we go, Sami Pajari, who is also in the Junior Championship, 4th in the Championship after Rally Sweden. A hugely talented young man. And our victor of the entire event, the Rally Finland eChallenge champion, is Mihalo. And of course, it means that he heads through to the WRC eSports Grand Final to be in with the chance of winning fantastic Toyota Yaris. And of course, to get the aplomb and everything he deserves as the victor.
Lauri Juna.
And that's it from the Neste Rally Finland eChallenge event. We'll see you all again soon as the WRC restarts its engines in September at Rally Estonia.